Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Tales of eBay Horror. I'm Rish Outfield, your host, and I sell on eBay. The best way to make a profit, and yeah, this is just between you and me, don't spread this around, is to buy something for a very small price so that whatever you get for it when you sell it is profit. Yeah. Something that I try to do, and I don't do it very often, but I try to buy people's collections when they're unloading them. Locally, we have a website. It's like a yard seller kind of website, and there was a guy and he was selling his collection. I drove up there and I bought his collection from him, and I could tell that he was in over his head, that he was he had bitten off more than he could chew, that he had overextended himself. One more, let's see. Painted himself into a corner, and he needed the money. Let me do that thing where you tap your wrist. So he was selling all of his stuff off, and I bought it, and I said, you know, why didn't you sell this stuff on eBay? And he said, oh, I used to sell on eBay. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It sucks. eBay always sides with the buyer. And I rubbed my chin, and I was like, really? Huh. But at in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, preach on, brother. Oh, yes. Can I get a, what's that word? Yes, a hallelujah. Because it is true. eBay always sides with the buyer. Now, I did a little bit of research, and I found out that their reasoning is thus. The sellers are there to make money. The sellers need eBay. What are you going to do? Go take out a want ad, sell it in a newspaper? You need us. But the buyers, they always want the buyers to have a positive experience. They want the buyers to get hooked on buying things on eBay. And their attitude is, if a buyer has an unpleasant experience, or it's not fun to buy on eBay, then they'll go elsewhere. They'll stop buying on eBay. And they need to milk that teat. And so they side with the buyer over the seller. You may not agree with what I just said, but it is the Bible truth, or, Quran truth, the Torah, Dianetics, Book of Mormon. I don't know, Necronomicon? And so here's my experience. When I discovered this, when I found out that they always side with the buyer, and it is, I was selling to someone, and I think that he was Canadian, but I have in my mind that all Canadians are nice, that they're decent people. So let's say that he was from, I don't know, Alabama, because fuck him. And I sent him a package. I sent him a bunch of things, because if it had been a $2 deal, I would not have cared. And when he got them, he was displeased. And if you've ever sold on eBay, if you ever sell on eBay, you will find one of these people that says, I am displeased. Why don't you give me some of my money back? They know the system. They're working an angle. And I get it all the time. But back in those days, I was just like, no. I'm not going to give you a partial refund because you're not happy. If you're upset, then send it back to me. And he wasn't upset. He wanted his money back. And he said, look, you can give me a partial refund, or I will tell eBay that it didn't arrive. And then they will give me a full refund. And I thought, holy crap, this guy is wait a minute. He sent me this email through eBay. It's not like he sent me a personal email. We had an email response chain through the eBay program, application, website. And I thought, they have a trail of this. I can't lose. And I said, no, I'm not going to give you a partial refund. I'm not going to give you any refund. You just showed your hand. You tipped your cards. Should I do a third one? To show me what kind of a person you are. Do what you like. And so he issued a dispute with eBay saying, I never received my package. And with the dispute, they get to say their piece, and then you get your piece. It's kind of like arguing before a judge. And so I said, hey, look, this guy received the package. He threatened to say that he didn't receive it if I didn't give him a partial refund. This was through our eBay exchange, email exchange. You can check this out. You can verify my story. This guy's just a thief. And a few days later, we got the results, and they found in favor of him, of the buyer. And they always find in favor of the buyer. But it made my mind reel because if ever there was a clear-cut case of a bad person trying to work the system, this was it. So I found the eBay telephone number, and I waded through all of their, your call is important to us. Please stay on the line. I just waiting until I could finally get to a customer service representative, and she got on there, and I said, hey, here's the situation, and you guys found in favor of him. Why? How? And she said, well, let me review the dispute. And I said, I'd heard that you guys always find in favor of the buyer, but I didn't. And she says, we do not always find in favor of the buyer, sir. And she was upset, I could tell. But of course, I was more upset. And I had righteous indignation on my side, which is such a powerful motivator. You know the type. It kept me going, and I was like, well, okay, this seems to prove you wrong, but yeah, the guy emailed me. He said he sent it. Here it is, right there. I mentioned that. How did you guys overlook that? And she said, sir, what, we're just going to take your word for it? You could be lying. And I said, but through the emails we have exchanged, he said he got it and is threatening to lie about it. Why don't you just look at the email? And she said, oh, we don't do that, sir. And I said, this is just not right. This guy is a thief. He got the product. I had to pay to ship it to him. And then you refunded all of his money. So I'm triply out. And she said, I'm sorry, sir. Is there anything else I can help you with today? And she probably didn't even have that accent, but I'm using it because that's the kind of person I was dealing with. And I was just like, and she, I forgot to tell you. She said, next time, sir, what you need to do is you need to have a delivery confirmation. You need to pay a little bit extra so that there is evidence that your customer received the package. That way you're protected. Thank you. That was it. And the truth of the matter is, the guy wasn't in Alabama. He was in Canada, and there was no way to do a tracking number on a first-class package at that time. But now, I mean, I did learn my lesson. I use tracking numbers on everything. Every single package that I send has a tracking number to prevent this from happening. And I suggest that you do it too, because yeah, I waste X number of dollars on tracking numbers a month, but I never have to suffer the way that I did with this guy, the smugness. The guy was confident that they would side with him, confident enough that he mentioned it in an official back and forth exchange, and he won. I learned my lesson. I guess I learned the hard way. But when the guy that I bought the collection of told me that eBay always finds in favor of the buyer, I knew where he was coming from. And shoot, I always end these things with, thank you for listening. But now I'm sad, I'm depressed about it. Well, this has been another episode of Tales of eBay Horror. Join us again, if you dare.